going on, everybody? Today I am with Ed from... What's up, man? How are you?
Good, man. Nice
Good.
to see you.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Good,
Thank you
thanks.
so much for letting me come through.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, no, this is funny. When I got introduced to you from someone, obviously Dennis from last week, but he told me to come over here, and I was like, yeah, it's literally perfect. Like, this is one of my favorite spots. I live right down the street, so
Nice.
it's really cool to have you on here. But yeah, I guess so. Just kind of introduce yourself and let everybody know, I guess, how you got into this business.
Okay. My name is Ed Bond. I got into the business. It was just 9 years. It was 9 years last week. Retired from my work in the supermarket world for 40 years and had the opportunity to buy this and be my own boss, and best move I ever made.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's funny. So how long have you had this store?
9 years. It was
9 years, wow.
November 2015.
Wow, yeah, so that was like right when I was getting out of high school. I was almost 21. So for me, it's funny, like a different perspective, but it feels like for me, it's been here forever.
It literally has been.
Yeah, so it's funny. But I guess I guess you got presented the opportunity and everything. Were you like a little bit nervous, obviously, like having never gone through this process of being an owner and everything?
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking. You take all your life savings and put it into the business, and being your own boss for the first time, not have any corporate overhead to steer you and guide you and kind of keep you under the umbrella, and you're out there on your own. But I have a good staff, and we're doing it. We have a great community, great neighborhood we're in, and they're very loyal.
It's awesome.
And
you guys are always super nice whenever I come here. Everybody's super, like, just greet you, and it kind of seems like, and I like going into places and knowing, like, hey, the people working here are people who are also from my neighborhood. Like, you know what I mean? It's not someone who who lives on the other side of town or the state and got shipped over here, and it's a big franchise and things like that. So I think that's really cool. But I guess more to shift like on the business side. So like, how does it work? Like, I was always curious, and I have no knowledge whatsoever. I'm just kind of going off the top of my head. But like, so I'd assume like you have vendors. And we talked a little bit before this. So you have vendors that come from a warehouse that come here and basically are trying to give you certain beers. Is that how it works?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're like, I guess like if you were a beer and you weren't in a store, right? So is it just like a sales rep, I guess, that comes here and pitches you like, hey, this is our product, basically?
What generally happens, the way it flows is we have three big wholesalers that bring us the big items, the Miller Lights, the Coors Lights, the Coronas, the Budweiser and Ultra, and they have a whole bunch of other items in their portfolio.
Right.
And they come out during the week and they sell us on what their items are and what deals they've got going, and we buy from them. And then we have some smaller guys that more in the craft world with smaller portfolios that call on us too. Every couple weeks, we just call in an order to them.
Okay, that makes sense. And then I guess like, I'm sure you guys have numbers and everything, so you're tracking like what sells, and is it like, I guess like if you're a new person or somebody like that, are you like trying to meet a quota, like, hey, we need X amount of sales to keep you around, or like is that like something that you decide?
What we generally do to gauge our success is we look at everything how it was the same week last year, or how we're doing for the whole year to date versus last year. So we watch what we're doing there. The sales reps assist us, and they let us know how we're selling versus last year with their products, with industry trends, where the industry is moving, and has what it's moving away from. For instance, a couple of years ago, the seltzers just exploded and went through the roof.
Yeah.
The White Claws, the Trulies, the Vizzies, and all the others that follow
Have you guys
along.
always had them? Like, they weren't like the RTDs, right? Like, they're a different
We've always
classification
had
because
them.
they're seltzers?
So my license is a malt beverage license. Mainly everything that's made in here is made from malt, is where the alcohol is derived from. And then there's flavorings added to it, whether it's the seltzers, the flavoring to them, or carbonation to them. And so that's where the diversification came, but they kind of have peaked out, plateaued, and the latest thing to come to us are what we call in the industry RTDs, or RTDCs, ready-to-drink cocktails. They're made with vodka or tequila, and we were never allowed to carry them before in Pennsylvania. As you know, it's separated.
Just a newly, like, it was funny because I was telling you this before I got here, but I came in here last week. I'm going to say fiance because I've been saying girlfriend and she's been getting yelling at me, my girlfriend. So it's fiance. So we got it on camera. But she came in here and she was like, oh my God, I didn't realize they have Surfsides here now. And it's funny because we always would have, when they first came out, you'd have to go across the street, obviously, to the state liquor store. And I just feel like they didn't have the capability that a beer distributor would of just having more volume. Like, they couldn't handle the demand, whereas I think now some places like here, like I'll show on the screen, like you guys have obviously a bigger store, so you guys can hold a lot more product. I guess, is that something like that you guys were shocked when it happened, or was that something that was kind of like in the works, like the law process of it?
That's a good question. It's been in the process for a number of years, and then with the help of our associations, the Malt Beverage Association, with their help, they were able to get it pushed through for us. And the hope is that it doesn't pull away from the person who maybe would buy a Twisted Tea, or we got Bud Light next to us here, that it's going to be an incremental sale on top of it. And we've kind of found that in about...
I would agree. And I'm just normal consumer, and I will say, like, humble brag, I do drink, so I have a somewhat of experience in this, me and all my friends, but we love the Surfsides, and I like all the other RTDs, but they're hard for me to drink, like, one after another. Like, it can't be, like you said, like, I think the perfect serving you guys have is like 4, 6, 12, like, and you want to have something else. Like, very rarely, especially now that you have them both in the same place, I feel like it's so much better. Like, before, you would have to go all the way to one store and then all the way to here, and it was like you'd maybe making 2 stops, where now you can make one and go from there. So, yeah, I think that's awesome. Is there a market for like RTDs that aren't like bigger brands? Does that make sense? Like, I know you have like I see like Victory, like I guess I would consider that a bigger brand, but you have some craft beers and stuff. Is there like a sort of like a craft RTD market where people make drinks like that aren't mainstream, I guess?
Yeah, we have a selection down the first aisle there of some of the RTDs, and over on the side of the camera there, the Two Robbers is a smaller brewer. They actually moved from the seltzer world, which they went to the vodka base now. But we have brands like Absolute and Bacardi, which are big names in the liquor world, that also carry RTDs, and they're not selling like the Surfside.
I'm sure like on a national scale for those businesses, it's like, oh, how can we get our foot in the door in this RTD thing? Because it blew up, like, it seemed like out of nowhere, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, that's really cool. One other thing I wanted to ask you about that I think is really good, I've had some before, so like, how'd you guys get the idea for the slushies and everything like that?
Oh, the slushies was another thing that the law changed, actually, with the help of the Malt Beverage Association.
And that was a little bit like a year or so ago, right? Not on the same timeline as the RTDs.
Yeah,
right?
the RTDs were just this past early, at the end of September, middle of September, and the slushies have been around, I want to say 3 years now. Took a little work. You have to have the right
I'm sure.
food safety
There's always
protocols.
a joke in like not like, I'm gonna say in the food world. I'm not in the food world. I just meant like there's always a joke like the McDonald's ice cream machine never works because it's always under service. I feel like there's probably so much upkeep for them that people wouldn't realize. Like, it's not like you just plug it into a wall. Like, you need someone like a technician, I'd imagine, right?
We've been lucky with our machines. They work very well. One machine has already died on us, but for the most part, knock on wood, they've been good. But the process to go through, it's very important. You have to have 3 compartment sinks. It's just like running a restaurant where you have to have food safety protocols and cleaning the machines and on a regular basis and temperatures and all. So you got to keep it.
Who regulates that in your world? I guess, is that like the liquor and beer control or whatever?
Well,
I butchered that. Whatever it's actually called.
Yeah. So the Liquor Control Board is the one who allowed us to gave us the license to have it.
Right. So are they the ones that like check everything?
Yeah. Well, the Liquor Control Board added it to our license, so that's as far as they really go with it.
Okay.
But then L&I and the food department, food safety department, Department of Health, they'll come out and they do inspections to make sure you're up to code.
That's awesome. And then one thing I was talking to my dad, and I was just saying, I'm going here today. Like, I work for him obviously, so we're always talking, but this was one thing we always had. This is like just a question, I guess, for a state level, but is there any reason why in other states you can do a drive-through? Like, you ever seen like a drive-through where you get beer and liquor and stuff, but you can't do it in PA from what I understand? Or is that a Philly law?
I think you can do it.
Okay. I've never seen one around here.
This store, I get a lot of customers. This store's been here for over 50 years.
Right. And
back in the day, I still have customers that say as they were younger with their grandfather or father would come through and there would be, this was a drive-through.
Oh, this one was one.
Was a drive-through.
And
actually over on the other side there, you could still see a small imprint of a yellow arrow, which would let people know
I could see why, in theory, it would be not a great law just on its face without looking into it. But yeah, it's funny. We went fishing down in Louisiana, and they had like a drive-through slushy place. And the only law down there was that you couldn't put the straw like in the drink.
That's our law too here.
Yeah.
Part of our law is we have to have a sealed top. And
that would make sense, but everything in here is coming in for the most part. I guess that would apply to slushies then, right?
Yeah, so this is considered an off-premise retailer. Right. So everything anybody drinks has to be off-premise. Unless we're giving them samples or something. And slushies are part of that.
Yeah, and it makes sense, I guess, because it falls in line with the liquor and malt and everything like that. One other thing I definitely wanted to ask you about, and this was funny because this directly affected me. So I coach a basketball team, high school kids. And we practiced like 8, 9 o'clock, and this was a few years ago, but they were all like, yo, like, I don't know if we could practice tonight. Like, normally I get 10, 15 kids, and I only had like 5 kids, and I'm like, I need more kids. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, it's 8 or 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night, and or whatever night it was, and they were all coming here, ironically, from when the Nelk boys came. So I just wanted to ask you, like, how did that whole process go? Like, did they reach out to you directly? Like,
so what happened was the retailer that brings me their products, they gave them, as part of the promotional to get them launched in Pennsylvania, 2 spots that they would show up and do a visit with.
Yeah, I'll put some of the videos on it. It was like a madhouse here.
Yeah, it was.
You guys became like a bouncer at a club all of a sudden.
It was pretty chaotic. They're good guys. Their crew was they are really good guys, and their fans while they were loud and excited, very respectful and very
awesome.
Very disciplined.
I would hope they are, because a lot of them are my brothers and their friends kids that I've coached my whole life. So I would hope they're not disrespectful. That would kind of be a direct image on us. But yeah, that was really cool. I definitely like some of their drinks. There's a purple one that we really like too, that me and from a few of my boys like. But yeah, outside of that, I wanted to just ask you guys about, I know you guys do a lot of stuff for the community and everything. Like, we had Dennis on, he sells his honey here. Like, I really appreciate that as someone who tries to champion small businesses. I really like that you guys have them at your store, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other small businesses that come through here and sell things like that. So I just kind of wanted to ask you, I guess, like, what kind of sort of things you guys are in on the community side and all that, because I know you guys do a lot for the community.
We do a lot, and we appreciate you recognizing that. Actually, on our website, we have a list. We call it the Beer Baron Charities. It's a pretty lengthy list. The majority of what we do is evolved around the schools. We do have we have like a change jar up front there that people drop their change in that we match. We buy gift cards for families in need. 9 local schools. We're looking to add a 10th one on this year.
Awesome.
That group of schools stem from, we have an anti-bullying campaign that we do, where we have a boy and a girl from each of those schools are nominated by the staff to get a certificate and a scholarship. Or a gift card too, if it's a public school, and a lot of that comes from around the store. Vendors give us grills and things.
I'll put some of the stuff on the screen. There's a ton of stuff here. One thing I definitely wanted to ask you, I saw you guys were collecting like toys or something like that.
Yeah, we do. We help with Toys for Tots. This time of year, we do books. Donate to the Philadelphia Book Bank. We take book and and clothes donations all year long, and we kick it up a notch. We have the Socks for the Street, who does a great job in the community with the homeless folks.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to him for sure. I think that'd be somebody that'd be cool to come on here.
Fine young man, and his family, very supportive of him. They do great work.
That's a really rewarding thing too. Like when you go and drop those things off, we do. So my team and stuff, we do every Thanksgiving. We do we give away pies, but we also do a big food drive for 8 for Friends. You guys connected with them, I think too, right?
What's it again?
8 for Friends. I wasn't sure. I think you guys were connected with
Caring for Friends.
That's what I meant. Yeah, they changed the name.
For Friends.
Yeah,
did they?
Because my dad mentioned that he thinks that you knew them or something, or he saw you there.
Yeah, we did some work for them a few years back.
Yeah.
Where my staff was going there to help prepare the meals. Pretty cool operation over there.
It's cool. Yeah, everything's great. I guess one other thing I just wanted to ask you before we get out of here. So what do you have any visions for the future, or things that you want to try to build on, or just kind of keep going where we're at? Because you guys obviously are running a really great job. I was saying this to even before and to some of your workers, it's so much different than when I first came in here the first time. You got all the stuff. I I come in here joking around. I always get the pickles. I love the pickles from Pickle Man. Yeah. But ever since then you've added the slushies, there's such a big variety. Like I said this, you guys, one of the first reasons I was I'm never going anywhere else besides here was I used to drink the mango carts and you only had them here. And I was shout out them for having the courage to sell them when no one else would. So and I love them, so they're one of my favorite drinks. So I would come here all the time. And then once I realized you guys help donate to our club, so me and my family, my dad, run Our Lady of Calvary football, and you guys got a sign for us there. And I was on the track one day, and I was like, oh, that makes sense because they're good people over there. So
yeah, we try. Our biggest thing is we try to adapt to whatever the needs are.
Yeah.
But our basic mantra is we put our stake in the ground as part of the community. We want to be a part of it. So whether it's paying for a small billboard at Our Lady of Calvary football,
or like a game,
or buying Girl Scout cookies, or whatever we do, we just try to make sure we have a great community. The people that live in this neighborhood are just wonderful, and we just want to be part of it and help out where needed.
That's I think like one of our goals as a team too for real estate is like I don't want to be like the big guy in a suit that's like I'm doing all this millions of dollars. Like I'm from this neighborhood. I'm from Northeast Philly. I know the people around here. I grew up with a lot of people, and like you live here long enough. Everyone knows somebody through something. So I think that's one of the reasons I like really was drawn to coming here is just because I know how community based you guys are. Like I have friends that are some of their sisters or some of your employees. So it's just cool to know that you guys are kind of just like one of us. You know what I mean? So
exactly right.
Yeah. So that's awesome, bro. I really, really appreciate you coming on. Anybody, if you're going to get beer this holiday season, you got to come here. They have literally everything. And one thing that I'm going to be telling everybody too is like obviously the RTDs are here. So there's no need to go to anywhere else now. You could come here. And yeah, thanks very much, man.
Very good. Thanks,
Appreciate
Matt.
you.